can actually get your LLC and EIN number for free in under 10 minutes. In less time than it takes to scroll through your Instagram feed, you can go from thinking about starting a business to legally owning one with your name on real documents, ready to open a bank account and start building business credit. Plus, you'll see how to get a registered agent for free. Basically your business's legal mailman for government forms and for lawsuits. And you'll see why filing now could save you from dropping $3,000 plus, later on, just to look like you've been in business longer than you have, to impress banks. And a lot of people don't know this, but you don't need to have your whole business plan figured out to start setting yourself up for funding. You want to think about it like this. Most people wait until everything's perfect, the logo, the idea, the website. But the people getting approved for funding, credit lines and bank loans, a lot of them set up their LLC before they ever made a dime. When lenders or banks look at your business, one of the first things they check for is how long it's been around. A business is only, 3 days old is an instant red flag. But a business has actually been officially registered for a year or two, even if it hasn't even made money yet, looks far more credible. So let's say you get the urge to start a consulting agency or a clothing brand or a mobile car detailing business, next year. If you had your LLC already formed today, that means that you've had 12 months of time in business, built up automatically. And that's one of the key requirements for many business credit cards and loans and even grants. And banks love what's called a seasoned or aged business. That's why some people go out and buy aged shelf corporations. These are companies that were registered years ago and have been sitting unused. These can cost thousands of dollars, just to get that credibility. But here's the truth. You can actually create your own age company right now for the cost of your state filing fee and let it quietly season for free. That way, when you're ready to go full speed next year, the foundation is already laid. Some lenders even require that you be in business for at least, 6 months for revenue-based funding or 1 year for most no-doc business loans, and even up to 2 years for traditional SBA funding. So even if you're just brainstorming today, setting up your LLC gets the clock ticking, and future you will thank you. Now let's talk about how to get your LLC for free. So we want to get practical here. Setting up your LLC used to be intimidating, digging through Secretary of State websites, trying to figure out forms and paying lawyers hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars just to click a few buttons. But that's not the case anymore. You can use a service and website called busy.com, formerly known as InkFile, by the way. They make the process ridiculously simple. All you have to do is just pick the basic package and you'll only need to pay whatever your state's filing fee is. That could be $50 in some states or $125 in states like Florida. There's no service fee, no hidden upsells, you're required to buy. Just an easy step-by-step help to get your LLC registered. I actually used Busy, years ago myself to start Barton Media LLC. And it was one of the smoothest setups I've ever done. The whole process took under 10 minutes and gave me everything I needed to get official without complicated paperwork. And you can get free registered agent service for a year with them. And if you're filing your LLC in your home state, you can usually act as your own agent, by the way. But if you want privacy or you're filing in a different state like Wyoming or Delaware, which have strong privacy and tax protections, Busy gives you a registered agent for free for that first year, like I said. But after that, it's going to be $119 per year, but you can cancel before then if you want. And just so you know, here's what the process looks like. So first step is you're going to choose your entity type and state, and most people would choose LLC here. So for example, you can choose Florida, where the state filing fee is $125. Then 2, you want to pick a neutral business name. So you don't want to lock yourself into something like Atlanta Mobile Detailers LLC. If you want to decide to launch a tax prep business later, instead go with something like MJ Consulting LLC or L. Smith Ventures LLC or DK Enterprises LLC. See, the thing is, neutral names give you freedom to pivot, and then you want to set your business purpose. So you want to just type consulting here. That's broad enough for almost anything, and it ties in perfectly with the next section. You want to use the NAICS code 541611, and that's administrative management and consulting services. So this is a low-risk code that banks love. It's safe, simple, and gives you access to better funding terms. And just so you know, high-risk industries like trucking, cannabis, and construction can trigger instant denials or lower credit limits, but not this one. Oh, and I'll leave a link to Busy right down below this video so you can start your LLC without wasting time and manually filing paperwork. And if you've never heard what a NAICS code is before, don't worry about that. It's just a classification system the government uses and banks use to define your type of business. But here's really the key. Not all codes are treated equally. Some codes, like the one I just gave you for consulting, are seen as low risk and get better credit limits and more likely to get approved for business funding and merchant accounts. It's really like checking that safe and trustworthy box on your entire business profile. And remember, even if your plan is to pivot, most lenders never ask you to update this later. Now, when you do check out at Busy, they will try to sell you a bunch of add-ons, but most of them are unnecessary. So if you want to pass on something like your EIN filing for $70, you can do this in 2 minutes for free at the irs.gov website. And then your business license research, you can just Google this in your city and county in under 5 minutes. And then premium documents and seals, those are not needed, just marketing fluff. Now, if you want to get your EIN number for free with no catch, this part is going to be super important and it's completely free. You want to go to the IRS site directly. That's irs.gov/EIN. But before you go there, I just want to make a few quick notes. You want to only apply between Monday through Friday between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern time. You can apply for an EIN number even if your LLC isn't approved yet too. And it takes, between 2 to 3 minutes tops. What you'll need is your name and address, your LLC name, your business purpose, which is consulting in this case, and whether or not you'll have employees. And you can say no if you're unsure. Once you complete that, you'll get a PDF or your EIN letter instantly. Then you can just print and save it or back it up in some way. This is what you're going to need to open up those bank accounts and apply for credit. Now, once you've got your LLC and then your EIN number, the final step is to get your business bank account set up. And the documents you'll need are the articles of organization, and that's going to come from Busy, then your EIN letter from the IRS, your government issued ID, that's from your state, and then about $100 deposit. Some banks require that to open up that business checking account. The banks that I like are Chase, Bank of America, US Bank, things like that. Those are, top tier nationwide lenders. And then online banks like Relay, Mercury, and Bluevine. Those are great if you want no fees and really fast online setup. And now once you get your account open, congratulations, you're officially in business. But real quick, if you're just getting started, the first account I always recommend is a Chase business checking account. Chase has a long track record of approving new business owners for funding, even with a brand new business or LLC. In fact, just last month, one small business owner walked away with a $55,000 Chase Income Limited card, no docs required. And you'll definitely want to check out that video next right here to see the 4 key reasons they still got approved for their Chase Income card, even with a 680 credit score and 2 baddies on their credit report. Plus, how they scored a $14,000 credit limit increase in under 30 seconds. Thank you for watching.